Copyright disclaimer. Under Title 17 U.S.C. Section 107, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips a balance in favor of fair use. Okay, you guys. This is from Tampa Bay Times. Clearwater. Scientology kept woman from mental health care before her death, lawsuit says. I believe that's medical negligence. Medical neglect. False imprisonment. The mother of Whitney Mills says high-ranking members failed to prevent her daughter's suicide in their care. Whitney Mills died by suicide 2022. A lawsuit filed by her estate alleges the Church of Scientology failed to prevent her death. By Tracy McManus. Dated June 14th. Also, too, I find it odd that she set herself on fire and allegedly banged herself. Editor's note. This story includes discussion of suicide. If you or someone you know is considering suicide, resources are available to help. Please see the information below. The mother of a Clearwater woman who died by suicide in 2022 has sued the Church of Scientology, alleging high-ranking church members kept her daughter from seeking mental health treatment while under their supervision and failed to prevent her death. Just the same thing as Lisa McPherson. I believe there's more as well. They sure do hate women in Scientology. In early 2002, Whitney Mills, a 40-year-old real estate agent and high-level Scientologist who I believe she spent millions of dollars to get to, I think she was an OT8, I believe, was experiencing a mental health crisis, otherwise known as psychosis, that had landed her in the emergency room twice with insomnia. Why are they listing this? With insomnia, anxiety, and an increased heart rate, the suit asserts. The suit alleges that members of Scientology's Sea Org, prestigious executives, workforce assigned handlers to stay with Mills at her downtown apartment. Wonder what Rinder knows about stuff like this. Around the clock beginning in February 2022. They coordinated her medical care with a Scientologist physician who misdiagnosed Mills with Lyme disease. I've heard Lyme disease before. I don't believe she was the only one. And cancer, while largely ignoring her very real psychosis and mental health crisis, according to the lawsuit. Scientology has strict beliefs against traditional mental health care and psychiatry, and it's pretty obvious, thus foreclosing her from obtaining the exact treatment she needed. Isn't that medical negligence? The lawsuit says because Scientology and its workers assumed responsibility for Mills during this period, just like McPherson, and oversaw highly questionable alternative medical treatments. Let me guess, vitamins and Purif. The family alleges the church is liable for her death. Facts, in my opinion. A pretty lady. The wrongful death lawsuit was filed by Lilia Mills, who is not a Scientologist, on May 11th in Pinellas County Circuit Court. On behalf of her daughter's estate, it named 6 Scientology corporate entities as defendants on 3 counts of negligence. Whitney Mills' family claims the Church of Scientology kept her from getting the mental health care she needed before her death. You see, a lot of these Scientologists are guilty of this, culpable. It draws parallels in the case of parishioner Lisa McPherson, who died in 1995 after being held at Scientology's Fort Harrison Hotel for 17 days. McPherson and Mills were treated by the same doctor, David Minkoff. So you got all these things in common. You've got Fort Harrison Hotel, which I believe Mike Rinder was at that hotel a lot. And then you've got the same doctor. You've got psychosis. That's 3 connecting factors. McPherson's case, and let's not forget Clearwater Police. McPherson's case brought international attention to church practices, cult. The state attorney filed 2 felony charges against Scientology in connection to the death, charges that were later dropped. That's a theme too. I'm going to be reading a bunch of articles regarding dropped charges, which means there's no justice for the victims. In a statement to the Tampa Bay Times, Scientology spokesperson Ben Shaw called Mills' death an unfortunate tragedy. Really? But denied that she was ever under the church's care. Denied. Just like Rinder didn't know anything about McPherson. Church policy is crystal clear. If a Scientologist is in need of medical care, he or she must see a medical doctor, Shaw said. Any and all decisions this is where they try to weasel out of it. Any and all decisions regarding medical treatment are solely, as you guys see, they always use the same thing, are solely the decision of the individual. So they're trying to get out of liability. The church does not provide medical advice. Oh, I guess that's why you guys locked her up in a room, huh? Regarding McPherson. The lawsuit alleges that Scientology officials knew Mills was at risk to herself. Yes, there's a lot of email and text evidence. And banned from her stepping foot on the church's flag land base in downtown Clearwater. They provided nonstop supervision, handling, at her apartment instead to prevent another event like the death of McPherson, it states, which it didn't, obviously was not successful, unfortunately, to her. Scientology teaches that any distress should be handled with its courses in spiritual counseling called auditing. Yeah, which Clearwater Police don't seem to understand how it all works. According to the lawsuit, and the parishioners like Mills, who've reached the advanced level of operating Thetan 8, oh yeah, she did get OT 8, can cure ailments with their mind. Traditional mental health therapy and psychiatry are considered evils that Scientology founder L. Ron Hubbard and convicted felon compared to terrorism. Also, like Serge Delmar talks about, it's mandated reporters. I'm looking forward to when all the medical establishment totally turns on Scientology, because it's going to happen. A view of the Church of Scientology flag building in downtown. It's a Fort Harrison Hotel. Text and email messages between Mills, her caretakers, and Sea Org staff. Included in the lawsuit shows she was receiving Scientology auditing off campus for her symptoms. Perfect that it was off campus, isn't it? You guys get that, right? You know why they said off campus. For her symptoms, she suffered from unbearable pressure in her head. Could have been a tumor. And anxiety, according to the lawsuit. And I'm not a medical professional, but her condition was worsening. It's causing me to feel like I'm dying and causing me psychosis, anxiety, panicking. I'm getting intrusive bad thoughts. By the way, she was paying for this torture. Mills emailed to a Sea Org member on March 12th, 2022, according to the lawsuit. She was paying for all the auditing and all that. I literally can't take another day of this horrific horror movie I'm living. Mills texted to a caretaker on May 1st, 2022. As her symptoms persisted, Mills in April 2022 requested a form of verbal auditing. Wonder how much that cost her. Intended to help a person's thetan or spirit leave the body after they die, according to text messages cited in the lawsuit. While this indicated she was suicidal, the lawsuit states caretakers either intentionally or negligently left her alone for several hours. On May 12, 2022, Mills attempted suicide that evening and died at a hospital the next day. I also want to see proof that it was an actual suicide, because I find it really odd that she started herself on fire, which, first of all, I mean, maybe if you're desperate, you might do that, but I would believe that would be the last way you'd want to go out, because it's painful. And then while she's on fire, you guys, while she's on fire, she points a bang bang gun at herself and shoots herself. But I have to go look at that record. It doesn't add up. Shaw said the complaint is meritless, deny, and invents Scientology beliefs in practices that do not exist. Deny, deny. Minkoff, the doctor, is not named as a defendant in the complaint, but Ramon Roscoe, a partner with the Miami-based Podhurst Orsic law firm, who is representing Mills' estate, said he has put Minkoff on notice. State law requires notice be provided to defendants 90 days before a medical malpractice lawsuit is filed. Minkoff did not respond to an email, none of them do, and 2 voice messages left at his office Wednesday and Thursday. McPherson's case began when paramedics took her to a hospital for psychiatric evaluation following a traffic crash. Several Scientologists showed up to the object, citing the church's stance against psychiatry. They took her to the church's Fort Harrison Hotel. Church staffers trying to nurse McPherson through a medical breakdown called Minkoff, who prescribed Valium and a muscle relaxant without examining her. After 17 days, staffers drove McPherson to see Minkoff at a hospital in Newport Richey, where he pronounced her dead. I believe she was already dead. It's my opinion. In 2001, Florida's Board of Medicine suspended Minkoff's license for a year for his actions in the McPherson case. McPherson's estate also filed a wrongful death lawsuit. Minkoff settled his portion for $100,000 in 1998, and Scientology reached a confidential settlement in 2004. I wonder if Lisa McPherson's family members ever spoke out. I don't think they did. With Mills, Minkoff had diagnosed her with a cancerous ovarian cyst. I want to know how he did that as well. And Lyme disease, and prescribed a series of alternative treatments, including an anti-parasitic drug that cost her $20,000. Wow. The lawsuit, she could have gone to a health food store and paid $30 for something like that. The lawsuit maintains, but Mills' autopsy showed the cyst was benign. Medical experts hired by Mills' estate concluded she did not describe symptoms of Lyme disease and was actually suffering from severe depression, according to the lawsuit. I don't know for sure, you guys, but I believe, it's my opinion, that McPherson was diagnosed with Lyme disease as well. I have to go back and look. In text messages cited in the lawsuit, Mills begged Minkoff for anything else to treat her changed personality, lack of emotion, which comes with all the sec checking and the ethics and the policies, and the where are you on the tone scale, lack of emotion, depression, and other symptoms. But Minkoff responded with quackery, the lawsuit says, encouraging Mills to instead apply her mental superpowers that she obtained by reaching the highest level of spiritual attainment in the church, OT8. Gazzino didn't help her. Minkoff had a duty of care, facts, to refer Mills to a mental health professional, even if his religious beliefs forbade it, the lawsuit states. This also means that the other young people that had active psychosis could sue for medical malpractice if there was a Scientology doctor involved. On April 20th, 2022, Mills told one of her caretakers via text that she had asked a Sea Org member who oversees auditing at Flag for the type of auditing session to help drop body. She said she learned about this form of auditing from one of the caretakers. In his statement, Shaw denied that such a session for dying exists. They always do, don't they? But Bruce Hines, a former technical correction director in the Sea Org who administered auditing, told the Times that the end-of-life assist is a verbal command created by Hubbard to help Thetans leave a body and find a new one. Even though Hubbard never did find a new body, as far as we know. If she was asking for it, she clearly wanted to die. And well, I mean, like, everything that she was going through. Geez. Hines told the Times on Thursday. Mills worried she would be in trouble for asking Scientology for the end-of-life assist, but a caretaker responded that they know you're desperate, according to text messages cited in the lawsuit. It is not clear from text messages and emails included in the lawsuit if a Scientology auditor actually delivered this end-of-life auditing. But by not intervening when Mills made reference to dying, these caretakers not only failed to prevent Mills' suicide, but also encouraged it, the lawsuit states. If you need help, if you or someone you know is contemplating suicide or in a mental health crisis, call or text 988 to reach the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Or chat with someone online at 988lifeline.org. You can also dial 211 to reach area nonprofits for information about and referrals to human service organizations. So that's it, you guys. Like and subscribe if you choose. Otherwise, have an amazing day or night wherever you are. Peace.